Good evening, everybody. My name is Angela Mendez, and I'm a homeowner at the Mayfair community. My husband and I come from very humble beginnings. For as long as I can remember, I helped my mom pay her bills, and worked really hard. Very often, she had to decide between paying the electric bill or putting food on the table. The community I lived in was so dangerous that we had an emergency plan in place, not for fire, not for earthquakes, but for stray bullets. At a very tender age, I learned to kiss my living room floor at the sound of gunshots and seek refuge in the only room in our small house that was away from windows. I share this so you can understand how important my home is and my community is for me and for my family. For years, my husband and I worked really hard, made sacrifices, saved, and held on to one dream: to give our daughter a better life than the one that we came from. Moving to Purcellville wasn't just buying a home. It wasn't just a transaction. It was the moment that dream came true. We chose this town because it felt safe and peaceful, like a place where children could grow up surrounded by community and not cows. And that is exactly what I'm afraid of losing. I heard a lot about a hope to mitigate the negative impact in our community, but not much reassurance. This is about a change in our reality. It's about a moment where a parent hesitates before letting their children play outside, and it's about being asked to accept the risk to our children's safety just as part of living here. I am asking you to please not take away our dreams, and please protect our children and reject this proposal. Protect the essence of Purcellville and the essence of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So much. My name is Monica von Hillebrandt, and my husband and I live in the Mayfair community. We purchased our home this year after many years of saving because we believed this would be a stable place to build our future and start a family. I work in environmental justice, and I want to focus on something that is often insufficiently addressed in decisions like this: cumulative environmental and health impacts. A nearly 1 million square foot 24/7 industrial facility powered by private well water introduces multiple interacting stressors: groundwater withdrawal, diesel emissions, continuous noise, and light pollution. These impacts do not occur in isolation. And when they are not evaluated comprehensively, risk is systematically underestimated. From an environmental justice perspective, this pattern is well documented. And from a mental health perspective, my husband is a psychiatric nurse practitioner serving in this area. These are not minor concerns. Chronic noise, artificial light at night, and environmental stressors are associated with anxiety, sleep disruption, and long-term stress. And perceived and actual safety risks, such as heavy traffic near residential areas, are also associated with elevated stress and anxiety for families. Children are particularly vulnerable. Increased exposure to diesel emissions and particulate matter is associated with higher rates of respiratory issues, including asthma, as well as other long-term health risks. These are not temporary conditions. They shape the baseline environment people live in every day. And once those conditions change, they are not easily reversed. We understand that development may ultimately occur on this site, but this proposal at the scale without comprehensive and independent evaluation of cumulative environmental and health impacts for nearby residential communities does not meet the standard required to move forward responsibly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
I'm a homeowner of Wright Farm, 25-year military veteran and a civil engineer who planned and implemented federal capital improvement projects. I do not believe that you can mitigate the negative impacts of this Valley Commerce Center proposal. Please oppose it. As Rachel did a fine job in her recommendations, this is not a smart or safe location for this very valid commercial need. In fact, 228 households disapprove it. The vast safety, traffic, water, pollution, power, noise impacts will be worse than predicted and will require more county infrastructure in the future if this proposal is approved and built out over the next several years. It would industrialize Purcellville from a rural town to a congested mess. It will open a Pandora's box for greater unwanted infrastructure needs for second and third order effects, especially on 287. I have 3 children, including 1 son with severe cognitive and communication deficits due to autism. We moved from the congestion and data centers of Ashburn to live near the charming Purcellville near our church at St. Francis. This proposal will make walking, biking, driving more unsafe for me and my family, especially my autistic son, who strives to be more independent. My family originated from southern Italy. Small, charming villages align with a way of life for everyday people to interact, worship, eat, shop, raise their families, and enjoy life. It's called La Dolce Vita, the sweet life. Let's keep Purcellville charming and sweet. Please vote no on this proposal. Don't extend Ashburn into Purcellville. Instead, let's keep the existing zoning and discuss ways to complement the rural atmosphere, the charm, and the agritourism. Please vote no.
For you, sir.
Evening, Chair Randall, Vice Chair Turner, who I trust is with us in spirit, members of the Board of Supervisors. My name is Caleb Stout. I live at 210 Upper Brook Terrace in the Mayfair neighborhood of Purcellville, and I also serve as a member of the Purcellville Town Council. The Valley Commerce Center rezoning application, which has come before you tonight for consideration, raises significant concerns for our community. I'd like to outline 2 key concerns for you tonight, taken directly from the county staff report. The first issue is water. The project's reliance on on-site wells and septic systems poses a significant threat to water availability for surrounding areas. The staff report highlights that the development, quote, has a potential to have off-site effects on water availability for the surrounding area that also relies on well water, unquote. On January 9th of last year, the town of Purcellville moved to mandatory water restrictions in response to worsening drought conditions. A project such as VCC, which will draw tens of thousands of gallons per day from our local aquifer, can only exacerbate this problem, which has become so dire there were multiple bills in this year's session of the General Assembly to try to address it. The second, and by far the most severe issue, is traffic. In 2019, a 13-year-old girl was tragically killed on Purcellville Road by a falling tree. It is this same Purcellville Road which, if this project is approved, will be subjected to 3,500 additional vehicle trips per day. This road is not capable of handling this level of traffic. The intersection of Purcellville Road and Hurst Road is projected in this traffic study to operate at level of service E or worse. During the school year, I can tell you from personal experience that on more than one occasion, I have seen westbound traffic at that intersection backed up almost all the way to Maple Avenue, a distance of almost a mile. On a more somber note, this is not an intersection where I want traffic to degrade, as it was the site 2 years ago of a car accident that totaled one of my vehicles with 2 of my daughters inside. Thankfully, they were okay. Those involved in future accidents may not be. The agenda before you tonight says that county staff cannot support this application. I respectfully urge you to heed the staff's recommendations and not support it. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Chair and the entire Board of Supervisors, want to urge you to not move this forward, the rezoning application for the Valley Commerce Center. As proposed, it will have severe and long-lasting impacts to the surrounding residential neighborhoods. And by surrounding, I mean they literally go all around it. This includes more than 600 homes and brings with it the risk of catastrophic increases in traffic and long-term impacts to the availability of groundwater for both residential wells and the local municipal water supply. As proposed, this project was rejected by your own planning department because it's fundamentally incompatible with uses envisioned in the county's comprehensive plan and also in Purcellville's comprehensive plan for this area. Its placement within the joint land management area fails the test of providing uses that complement uses in the town of Purcellville and also fails to offer land uses compatible with the predominantly rural character of the surrounding land. The amount of light industrial space proposed is more than 6 times the amount available inside the town, which would lead to a hollowing out of the commercial cores of the town. Furthermore, the Valley Commerce Center would overstress local roads and endanger local residents with heavy truck traffic. I note the bridge that provides connectivity to Route 7 was completed in the late 1980s. Its service life would be diminished by a large increase in heavy vehicular traffic, should that occur. Should it be required to be removed from service for repairs or, heaven forbid, replacement, the only other viable route, and it only becomes viable at the point that the 7690 interchange goes into service, for vehicular traffic takes past hundreds and hundreds of students at Mountain View Elementary School and Woodgrove High School. During a hearing by the County Planning Commission, the applicant stated there's a need for additional flex industrial
Mayor?
space.
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Sorry.
All right, we will have Councilwoman. Good evening.
Madam Chair, Board of Supervisors, I would like to personally actually thank you for everything you do for our great town, all the projects, all the funding you give our town. I truly appreciate everything you do for us. Since you are all now in complete control of this project's future and our town has no authority anymore, I am here not as a member of Percival Town Council, truly, but as a resident of the Mayfair development. I am asking the board to consider the traffic impacts on Percival Road and Mayfair Crown, otherwise known as the infamous Northern Collector Road. The road is already a safety concern, and Mayfair Crown is a residential road ending at a school road, the new Centerfield Road that goes to Woodgrove High School. I do not know if you plan on approval or not of this project, but can you please remove the Northern Collector Road portion of Mayfair Crown from Percival Road that ends at Centerfield Road that goes to Woodgrove from the transportation plan? I called Mr. Kuhn himself and asked him if he could please remove that portion of the road from one of his plan sites, and he is more than willing to remove it. However, he said he was required by the county to keep it in one of the plan options because it's the Northern Collector Road on the transportation plan. So if he's willing to remove it, I am asking the board, in your consideration of this project, to remove the Northern Collector Road portion of Mayfair Crown. It is a residential road. It ends at a high school road, and if the road eventually connects, it becomes an extreme danger to both the high school student drivers, the people in my neighborhood, and also where it ends at Percival Road. That road is very narrow and has already caused a death with one tree falling down and some major accidents. I also would like to consider with the project, I do not like the exit and entrance on Percival Road because of the state of the road. I think it is a big accident waiting to happen, especially with left turning cars out of our neighborhood. And I please ask that you remove the entrances and exits on Percival Road and see an alternative on the other side of the project.
Thank you. Miss Evening.
Good evening. Thank you for serving our county. This is unbelievable the amount of time you guys put forward. Tonight, I had a well-written speech, but I'll be perfectly honest, I'm tired, so I'm going to speak from the heart. We talk about land use. 262 homes in Mayfair community, 100 in Wright Farm, 34 in Chestnut Hills, another 72 in Catoctin Meadows, and 137 in Old Dominion Valley. That is what actually surrounds the Valley Commerce Center development plan. This is a residential community. This is a residential area. Also keep in mind, all those folks that are going to be traveling up a Percival Road or Hillsborough Road will be traveling up to go to Mountain View Elementary and to Woodgrove High School. I want you to all think back for a moment. I looked up at all your bios. You're all parents of grown children. I want you to think back when you first started looking for a home. And you were looking for something that was safe for your family, somewhere safe that your kids could play in the streets, somewhere you could go to school and commute and not have to worry about heavy industrial traffic. You wanted a home, a place and a community that matched your values. That's exactly what the people of Mayfair, Wright Farms, Chestnut Hills, that's what we want when we chose this area for our homes to start our lives. We wanted a safe neighborhood. This comes down to a choice. Do you want to keep the integrity of a community, or do you want to add more industrial space on a piece of land? These are the critical questions that we need you to answer, but I want you to put yourself in every person's shoes. What would you do? How would you act if this was you and this was coming next to your home? Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your time, and thank you for serving Loudoun County.
Thank you.
God bless
sir.
you.
Thank you. Doctor, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Lloyd Harding, and I live in Purcellville. I am not a member of the Purcellville Town Council. I'm here to respectfully urge you to vote against approval of the rezoning application to build the Valley Commerce Center, and here's why. First, a 2024 traffic study revealed that on average 427 trucks travel on Purcellville Road over the Route 7 bridge every day during the morning and afternoon rush hours, and most of those trucks travel to and from the Mayfair Industrial Park, which is located off of Purcellville Road. If the Valley Commerce Center is built, then the number of trucks traveling on Purcellville Road will increase significantly, worsening the daily traffic backups that already occur at the intersection of Hurst Road and Purcellville Road. Second, Purcellville Road is a narrow country road, and both lanes are only 7 feet 4 inches wide. However, the average tractor trailer is at least 8 feet 6 inches wide. Also, there are no shoulders on Purcellville Road, so it is physically impossible for 2 tractor trailers to pass each other going in opposite directions. And there are 2 signs on Purcellville Road, which specifically state that through trucks are prohibited on the road. Furthermore, Purcellville Road north of East Nichols Lane is not a town of Purcellville Road, nor is it a Loudoun County road. It is a Virginia Department of Transportation road. So enlarging it to accommodate tractor trailers would require approval by and funding from VDOT. Third, since tractor trailers cannot access the Valley Commerce Center entrance using Purcellville Road, there's only one way for them to reach the entrance, and that's for them to take Mayfair Crown Drive, enabling direct access to and from Hillsborough Road to the west. The lanes on Mayfair Crown Drive are 8 feet and 8 inches wide and have shoulders several feet wide, so the lanes are wide enough to accommodate 2 tractor trailers passing each other going in opposite directions. However, tractor-trailer traffic on Mayfair Crown Drive, which is the only street into and out of Mayfair residential neighborhood, will create a safety hazard for children crossing the street to reach and leave the school bus stop on Mayfair Crown Drive. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Supervisors. I stand before you today to respectfully urge you to deny the rezoning application for the Valley Commerce Center. This proposal is not new to the community, as has been stated. It has already been rejected twice for annexation into the town of Purcellville. Each time, the message from residents was clear: we do not want this scale or type of development at the gateway to our town. This sentiment has not changed. This project is fundamentally incompatible with both the county's comprehensive plan and the town of Purcellville's comprehensive plan. These plans exist for a reason: to guide thoughtful, consistent growth that reflects the character and long-term vision of our community. This proposal does the opposite. It introduces nearly 1 million square feet of industrial development into an area explicitly designated as a rural transition, meant to preserve open space, protect neighborhoods, and maintain the character of Western Loudoun. Traffic is another concern. This project would generate thousands of trips per week along a 2-lane road already used by families, school buses, and students traveling to nearby schools. The idea that this level of industrial traffic can be safely absorbed is simply not credible. The risk to public safety is real and immediate. This is not about economic development versus no development. It is about the right development in the right place, consistent with the plans and values this county has already adopted. Approving this rezoning would set a dangerous precedent, one that signals our comprehensive plans can be set aside, that community opposition can be overlooked, and that incompatible development can be forced into areas never intended to support it. The residents have spoken, the town has spoken, your planning staff has spoken. I ask you to listen and to protect the integrity of our plans, the safety of our roads, and the character of our community by voting to deny this application. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Dr. Gary Ellenbogen. Good evening, supervisors. To begin tonight, I would like to first commend Mr. Kuhn for being a conservationist. He has donated much of his land holdings to conservation easements, which preserves the land. However, in the proposed Valley Commerce Center, there are a multitude of concerns that I have and my neighbors have. A few years ago, a hearing was held at Patrick Henry College in regards to this matter. I think it was held January 26, 2022. At that time, we were told that this land would be a data center as well as an industrial park. This proposal failed, and later other proposals of the same property also failed. We were told at that meeting by Mr. Kuhn himself that you can't stop progress, and this is the future of Percival. Needless to say, this wasn't very well received. What concerns me about the Valley Commerce Center is how it would affect the bucolic nature of Percival. Many people move out this way for that small town, rural feeling. It certainly was for my wife and me when we moved here. We moved from Ashburn 5 years ago, and I've been in the Northern Virginia area for 52 years and have seen many, many changes. One of the most shocking changes is what has happened to Sterling and Ashburn. It used to be a beautiful place in a beautiful area, but is now inundated with industrial parks and data centers. It has been ruined and should be a cautionary tale for Percival. As a side note, the same thing is happening to Leesburg right now, unfortunately. With this industrial park, traffic will exponentially increase. I live in the Chestnut Hills community and work at Tyson's Corner. I do not need to make my commute any harder than it already is. Unfortunately, I do not have a helicopter and 3 landing pads on my property like Mr. Kuhn has. I wish I did.
Sir,
I'm also
time
sure.
is up. Thank you so much. Michael Parrish, followed by Chase Stewart, followed by Ryan Goller. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Michael Parrish, and I live in Percival, Virginia. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. County planning staff has recommended denial of the application, finding it inconsistent with the comprehensive plan and not adequately mitigated given its proximity to existing homes. This site is designated as a rural neighborhood, not an industrial park. The application is not just seeking approval. They're asking to eliminate key requirements for roads, water, and wastewater infrastructure. Those standards exist to protect the safety of existing residents. Families in this area rely on non-constant private wells. This project introduces high-capacity industrial water use into that system. Even after multiple submissions, the county has stated that there is insufficient information to fully evaluate water usage and impacts. That uncertainty should not fall on the families who already live there. Percival Road is a narrow 2-lane road. It is not designed to accommodate sustained heavy truck traffic. According to the county's own analysis, this project would generate over 3,000 daily trips. Many of those include heavy and extra heavy trucks. That fundamentally changes how that road functions today for the people who live there. And the impacts are not just traffic. Industrial scale lighting, activity and intensity are not adequately mitigated next to existing neighborhoods. This is how industrial creep happens, one approval at a time. In a 2024 survey of homeowners in the Mayfair, Wright Farms, and Chestnut Hill communities, 93% opposed this project. 93%. For many families, homeownership represents stability, investment, and trust. This proposal puts that at risk. I respectfully ask you to deny this rezoning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Parrish, followed by Tony Howard, followed by Scott Moffett. Good evening.
Hi there, I'm Audrey Young. I'm a Percival resident and a Virginia attorney. I'm pleased to be here tonight to start to get some answers about this project. As the chair just mentioned earlier, I've been to a lot of these meetings. The applicant and his staff speak in platitudes and generalities, and they never, ever answer the actual questions we have about a project that is so detrimental to the health and safety and general welfare of the residents of Percival. And by the way, the other people that work in Percival and have to get there every day. It's not just limited to the residents. I've developed a top 10 list of questions I have that are not getting answered. First of all, they've conveniently framed this issue, traffic-wise, as solely concerning Hearst Road. That's so false. In order to get from the east to Hearst Road, you have to transit 287. 287 and 7 is a terrible interchange. As far back as 2012, I sent you all the VDOT report about the changes that need to be made at that intersection that we're still waiting for 16 years later, but it is going to happen in 2028. And one of my comments is, What's going to happen when that interchange looks like 9 and 287 now? I don't know if any of you have been up there, but it backs up for miles now because of the construction that's going on there. So what's going to happen when they have to change or take 287 and 7 and route the traffic? Is it going to go through Hamilton? Is it going to go on 9? These are the questions we need to get answered. We've talked about some of the schools that are implicated about this, but Valley High is directly implicated by this. The students who go to that school and drive themselves have to go down Hearst to get to the turnoff to go to their school. And with this additional traffic, how is that going to happen for them? I also want to talk about the church.
Your Marcus Meyer. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Board of Supervisors. My name is Jenna Lee Bellinger, and I live in the Mayfair Community Association, located off Purcellville Road, and serve in the capacity of the president of the HOA. We are here today in opposition of the proposed Valley Commerce Center, as it represents a fundamental departure from the Loudoun County's comprehensive plan. This is not simply a zoning adjustment, it's a conversion from low-intensity transitional land into an industrial park designation that was never intended for this area, at a scale approaching nearly 1 million square feet. Our opposition centers on two critical issues. First, public safety and traffic impacts. Increased traffic of this scale would have real daily impacts on Mayfair residents. Purcellville Road was not built for this type of volume or traffic, particularly heavy truck use associated with industrial operations. In addition, the proposed Northern Collector Road would connect directly to Mayfair Crown, routing an estimated 3,500 daily vehicle trips, including heavy trucks through our neighborhood streets. These are the same streets where children wait for the school bus. This level of traffic would also create a significant congestion on surrounding roads, increasing delays for residents trying to enter and exit our neighborhood, especially during peak commute hours. Second, zoning integrity. Residents chose this area based on its designation of JLMA 3, which promises low-intensity transitional land use. Reclassifying this land to PDIP, industrial zoning, is not compatible growth. It's a drastic and permanent change that benefits a single developer at the expense of the broader community. To be clear, this is not an opposition to all development. It's whether this level of industrial intensity belongs at this location. Right now, it does not. We respectfully urge you to deny this application. Thank you for your service to our community.
Thank you, ma'am. You are speaking on behalf of the Mayfair
of the Mayfair Community Association Board of Directors.
And how many people are in Mayfair? How many homes are in Mayfair?
We have 262 homes.
262. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm William Marsh. I'm here to speak in opposition to this proposal based on the risk of water supply loss that neighbors might endure. I asked board members to consider the affected property owners and their perspective of how they would navigate the proffer that's promised by this applicant for water supply testing. The affected property owner has no idea when commercial operation for the proposed well will begin, let alone when the 30-day notification window to respond to monitoring would be offered. What if the property owner is out of town or deployed overseas during that unpredictable time window? If so, they have no recourse for testing or mitigation. Let's say they respond and agree to participate in the testing. Then they see a decline in their well performance. Then what? They have to prove to the applicant or water owner that, quote, for the proffer, water levels are being adversely affected specifically by the pumping of existing well VCCD and not by other private wells or drought or other impact sources. Well, how do they prove that other than paying for their own very expensive consultant to contest the consultant's opinion of the applicant or property owner? Finally, what happens after 2 years of operation? The developer's commitment is over. Board members, how many property owners in Loudoun County are content with a 2-year operation window for the well that they rely on for life's basics? Adjacent property owners are not protected here. I also want to criticize the applicant's approach to water resources. A developer can choose to address a known problem more proactively. For example, designing for capture and reuse of rainwater that falls on a new building's rooftops, storing that volume in a cistern, treating it, and then using it to satisfy at least non-potable demand in the buildings. If you've ever caught a performance at Capital One Hall and Tyson's, that's exactly the design they use. Instead of proactivity, the developer uses by-right boogeyman of 39 residential lots using exorbitant amounts of well water as an alternative scenario. I asked the board to call their bluff. A new residential development will take years to fully build out, and the board can use that time to investigate groundwater supply concerns with big picture and then pursue better land use policy that might protect existing property owners better. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Mark Coomer, followed by John Ellis, and then Brandy Nicholson.
Thank you. I am Mark Coomer with the Mayfair community. I do oppose this proposed rezoning for all the reasons given tonight. I actually can't think of a whole lot of new ones, but I will emphasize an issue that we've talked about, but maybe not hasn't been emphasized enough, and that is the public opinion polling has identified the core views of the communities most affected by this proposed rezoning. 93% opposed in one poll of 3 communities. Also, we had an election in 2024 where there was a slow growth, managed growth slate of candidates that campaigned together. They shared campaign literature, and they proposed a vision for the town where there would be slower growth to prevent overburdened infrastructure and retain that small town charm and quality of life. They won. They took over the city council. They took over the mayor's office. When I say took over, I'm not saying they assumed all power, but they did have a vision for the pace of development in my community that pretty much controlled the response to these kinds of issues when it would come before the council. So all I can say is I did learn some things tonight. The vision that I had for what this development meant has been changed by the briefings that I received. My understanding of the connector road, which was my primary concern, because the connector road, as I understood it, there would be 3,500 cars roaring down a 2-lane road past my house with trucks and long-haul semis sharing the road with school buses, and that didn't make a lot of sense to me. So if, in fact, there is an amended vision that, oh, I'm out of time.
We're out of time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm John Ellis. I represent Save Rural Loudoun, and I've also been actively participating in the coalition group that has been following groundwater issues throughout Western Loudoun. I want to quickly try to focus on 4 issues. First, I agree that we need a more diversified economy. This is not the right place to do it. And approving the Valley Commerce Center is not going to solve the problem of real estate price of inflation in Loudoun County. So that's the first point. Second point, this is something that is important to me, maybe not so much to other people, but I'm not happy with destroying 30% of that well-established woodland. I would much prefer that we retain green areas like that in Western Loudoun. On the traffic issue, they have just started cutting trees, speaking of trees, cutting trees and clearing land for the 7690 interchange. That was sold to many people in person. I spent a lot of time stuck in traffic on Hearst Road myself, coming in from the north. Many people, that project was supposed to reduce traffic congestion on Hearst Road. This project would basically negate that benefit of that very expensive investment in that infrastructure. In terms of water, a lot of the comments here to me were very strange. They were sort of, if we have an impact on somebody else's well, no problem, we'll drill more wells. There are a lot of wells in this area already. The town of Purcellville has a lot of wells already. A 2019 study, I'm running out of time. 2019 study said the town of Purcellville already is not able to meet its demand for water with its existing wells and needs more wells. This would be competing with the new wells that Purcellville needs.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. If anyone does run out of time, you can absolutely.
I'd like to start by thanking you all for staying late to listen to all of us. It's really important. I know everyone really appreciates it. It's a late night. My name is Nan Joseph Forbes. I live on West Main Street in Purcellville. I've been there for 43 years if you count one way, and about 70 some odd if you count another way. My family has lived in my home for over 100 years. I also am the chair of your BZA. so I'm here in a personal capacity. The criteria for zoning is controlled by Section 15.2, 2283, and it is supposed to achieve the objectives of 15.2, 2200. I hope that you all will look at that code section. I know that staff can provide it to you. And I don't have enough time to go into it in any detail. This proposal for rezoning is not consistent with the comprehensive plan. Hundreds, if not more, homeowners near this 117 acres have made the biggest financial decision and personal decision of their lives to have a home where they are in Purcellville. They've invested financially and personally based upon a reliance on the comprehensive plan. No one bought their home expecting an industrial park next door. No one signed up for this. Only the planning staff of the county has recommended no, and for good reasons. There are traffic issues, water issues. There's a gross denigration of the rural character of Purcellville and western Loudoun County if you do this. The map is misleading. There is a 4-lane highway south of this site. So the fact that there's commercial on Hurst Road, I would submit, is not hugely significant. You need to look at what surrounds this property. There is a bit of commercial property to the south east, but the rest of it is absolutely rural or residential.
Thank you.
And I ask you to respect that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all your service to the county. Kevin.
Good evening. I'm Jacqueline Cheshire. I own and operate an equine boarding facility where my family and I also live on Purcellville Road, which is about a mile northeast from the proposed Valley Commerce Center. I am also a real estate developer, so I do understand land use. When we opened our facility, VDOT was kind enough to install horse crossing signs because our clients and family often ride across Purcellville Road. We also, at the urging of Loudoun County Soil and Water, installed fencing to keep the horses out of the creek on our property, which made it impossible for us to access all of our land on horseback without riding down Purcellville Road. As such, I have serious concerns about the rezoning, specifically the use and scale of the project. Industrial use on this site is not consistent with the comprehensive plan, and for good reason. My concerns are the traffic it'll generate on a 2-lane road that narrows to less than 2 full lanes and turns to gravel. It's inconsistent with preserving rural Loudoun. The project will dramatically increase industrial traffic and large trucks leaving the property in the direction of the narrowing gravel road and past my farm and the road we travel on horseback to access Route 9. This will be extremely dangerous. Replacing the 4-way stop with the traffic signal at Hurst and Purcellville Road, in addition to adding 3,500 vehicle trips a day at that intersection, will only cause backups in all directions unless long signaled dedicated turn lanes in all directions are also installed. Most importantly, the impact of the project, of the magnitude of this project will have on the water table is immense. Our livestock rely on the well for survival, and continued drought is a major concern to us. This property would be better suited in Ashburn, maybe instead of some of the data centers. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Pardon me. It's been a long one, and thank you very much for your patience and time sitting up here. Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you very much for giving us the time to share these thoughts with you. I had a long speech too, but honestly, I'm tired and I'm bored and I want to go home. There are a lot of commonalities that we're hearing from a lot of people here tonight. First and foremost, the people who live adjacent to this property that's being suggested we develop are really opposed to this, and I am one of those people. I live on Alder School Road, and that's one of the things that I've not heard people really talk about this evening is what the traffic impact would be like on Alder School Road. Specifically, the gravel portion of it, managed by VDOT, that gets torn up on a regular basis and really is slow to be repaired. The same problem would exist for Purcellville Road. It points north. No one has really mentioned that. It seems like there's this magical belief that traffic would only come in on Hearst, only turn on Percival Road, and only turn right into this development. That's just not the way things work, and I think we all know this. So maybe some traffic studies being done on what the overall impact would be, and certainly on the budget for repairing these roads would be something warranted in this instance, perhaps paid for by JK Land Holdings. I too am concerned about the water. I live on the gravel portion of Alder School Road, so ultimately my water would be impacted by this well should this whole initiative move forward. And while I appreciate, the stopgaps being put into place, like the 2-year measurement that might be assessed to see if there are long-term downstream impacts, we don't know those impacts, and some of the board members accurately pointed out that it takes time to fill the vacancies within these businesses. A lot of the small business community have indicated that that might not be the case, and I feel their plight. I've worked for small businesses most of my life and have supported them since then, and I really want us as a county to find places where this type of development can take place. But seeing that time is short, I have 2 thoughts to share with you that I would hope you would keep in mind. First, the board member who stepped away had said that not all of the things that come before this board need to be voted yes upon, and Madam Chair, you yourself noted that there are things that you want to make sure you don't vote. You vote yes for and vote no for, and this seems like one where maybe no is the right answer.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Board, Supervisors. My name is Brenda Alder, and I'm a resident of Percival, and I too live behind this proposed site. I'm here tonight to respectfully urge you to deny the Valley Commerce Center rezoning application. This project poses a direct and serious threat to my family's way of life. We live, garden, and raise animals on this land. Our well water is not just a convenience, it's how we survive. And the data presented in this process should alarm every one of you. The hydrogeological study itself found that nearly 1 million square feet of industrial space would require over 157,000 gallons of water per day from a site whose well can support only 75,000. That is more than double what the aquifer can provide. And yet the applicant's proffers do not require drilling or deepening affected neighboring wells if ours runs dry. That is not a safety net. That is a gamble with our lives. Due diligence has not been done. The applicant attempted to monitor only 1 of 11 neighboring wells. 1, that is not adequate testing. That is not protecting this community. Beyond our wells, this development threatens springs, wildlife that make Western Loudoun the place we chose to call home. Once that is gone, it cannot be restored. As Chair Randall stated earlier, we must protect it. I ask each one of you tonight, if you lived where I live, would you vote yes? Please protect our water. Please protect our community. Please vote no on Valley Commerce Center.
Thank you. For allowing me to speak tonight. Speaking of statistics on groundwater usage, the staff came up with a number based on essentially 350 gallons per day per home. The USGS, in a study on the U.S. and EPA, agrees that a design value or an expected value of 400 gallons per day for the average home is an appropriate value to expect in usage. That is almost the same value, a little higher than what the staff used. The EPA goes on to say that 30% of that number is used outside the home, lawns, car washing, etc. In arid areas, that might go up to 70% outside the home, for instance, watering, etc. That still translates to only 700 gallons per minute per home. For 39 homes, that translates to 27,000 gallons per day. For the entire 39 homes, that's only 2/3, less than 2/3 of the value, the amount of groundwater that this project proposes to remove. And yes, some wells might pull 2,000 gallons in a day, but not 39 wells, and not every day for 365 days a year. So this project will in fact contribute to groundwater depletion. in comparison with 39 homes.
Good evening. Thank you, Randall Chair and Board of Supervisors, for your time this evening. I thought that my wife and I were the last two Mohegans, but obviously we're not. We're both natives of Northern Virginia. We relocated from Aldi 10 years ago next month. We live in the Wright Farm Division of Purcellville. We own two small businesses in the construction space. We own flex industrial space in Ashburn. We understand the need for flex industrial space firsthand, given the right location. When we moved here, again 10 years ago next month, the first thing we did was check the land zoning to find out exactly what it was. It's R3. We were expecting one day for homes to be built behind our home. So when all of this emerged, the first thing that came to mind was not only the noise, the traffic, the environmental impact, but more importantly, our water. My property abuts this property, and that is a major, major concern of ours. I want to also just tell a story. I was coming back from the very far western part of Loudoun County this afternoon, towing a trailer with a tractor on it, and I purposely got off at the Round Hill exit. Getting at 5 o'clock, it's almost impossible to turn off the exit from Route 7, left onto 287 to head to Wright Farm. So I got off at the Round Hill exit, came through Purcellville, made a left on 21st Street, down to Hearst, and then into Wright Farm once I was on 287. That took 22 minutes at 5 o'clock to travel less than 3.5 miles. So again, the environmental impact, the additional 3,500 cars a day, these are all just concerns of ours that we left Aldi to get away from the traffic and move out here for a quieter, simpler life.
Sir, your time is up.
Sorry about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Beverly Prozina, followed by Sam Chapman. Beverly?
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Yep.
Great. Hi, I'm Beverly Prozina, and my husband Rich and I, we live within yards of the proposed complex. We live right at the corner of Chestnut and Purcellville Road. I also am a teacher at Woodgrove High School, and I am on tonight because I want to ask you to vote no to this complex here. The major concern for us is the water. It's been dry here in the Purcellville area for a few years now, and owning a property with animals, we have horses, and we have just such a need for the water, the groundwater. We've been conserving and really monitoring our water use, praying that our wells hold. So that is a major, major concern for us with an industrial facility of this scale, requiring more groundwater. It really puts a major stressor on the immediate neighbors and the residents all around this proposed complex. Also, being a teacher, I have witnessed students getting, in traffic accidents. We have a son who is a first responder responding out here in Purcellville. It is just a horrible mess. Purcellville Road is with just students trying to drive to school, and you compact that with tractor trailers and more traffic. It is major, major concern. Not only the noise and all that goes with a brand new complex like this, but I'm asking you to consider the safety of our students that travel on that road. But worries me the most is the precedent. So once this industrial development is allowed to come in, it's just not going to stop. This project becomes, yes to the next project and the next and the next.
Ma'am,
yes.
I'm sorry. Your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
It is. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Chair Randall and members of the board. My name is Tia Ehrman. I am a land use planner speaking on behalf of the PEC. Quoting from your packet, the policies of the 2019 general plan support the establishment of business uses in the Purcellville JMLA policy area that preserve the rural character of the landscape, that are compatible with the dominant rural land use pattern, and that promote opportunities for the expansion of the county's rural economy as well as environmental goals. This 1 million square foot industrial campus surrounded by homes, using close to 44,000 gallons per day of water and adding extensive impervious surface is the opposite of that guidance. The applicant's hydrogeologic study was conducted in 2023. From that day to this, we have been in a period of consistent drought. After many years of less rainfall and a prevalence of severe short-term storms versus the longer, milder rains good for groundwater recharge, this appears to be our new normal. We should be making adjustments to adapt to it and decisions to increase our resilience as a county in this changing climate. In reviewing the hydrogeologic study, the county consultant found inconsistencies in testing and reported potential for off-site impacts to residents. The proffers included are quite insufficient to ensure resident protection from and restitution in the case of damage to their wells. 2 years is much too short a time frame for damage to be identified. 30 days is way too short a time frame to contact and work with impacted homeowners. And allowing a hydrogeologist working for the applicant to monitor and determine/agree if damage to wells is occurring is akin to allowing the fox to guard the hen house. For Valley Commerce Center, we are asking for a safe land use with respectful traffic patterns for residential communities and realistic water consumption requirements consistent with the surrounding uses as anticipated in our county documents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ehrman. And then we're going to go to Mr. Kirshner for a motion. And our Jessica Alvarado.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Jessica Alvarado. I was born and raised in Loudoun County. For 24 years of my life, I lived in the Sterling area. I just recently moved to Percival a couple of months ago with my husband. My husband and I chose Percival because it's a quiet, close-knit, and loving town. Very different from what we're used to in Sterling. No disrespect to the Sterling or the Ashland area, but it was very different. I expressed my opposition to the proposed Valley Commercial Center in Percival. At first glance, development can seem like progress, but not all growth benefits in community in the long run. This project risks changing the character of Percival in ways that cannot be undone. Increased traffic, noise, and congestion will put pressure on our roads and infrastructure, affecting the quality of life for residents who choose this area for its peace and livability. We also need to consider the impact on local businesses. Large commercial developments often favor big, well-funded developers over small, locally owned shops, the very businesses that give our community its identity and keep money circulating locally. Environmental concerns cannot be ignored either. Construction and increased activity may harm green spaces, wildlife, and air quality. Once these natural assets are lost, they are incredibly difficult to restore. These are the same natural assets my husband and I were looking for when choosing a home. Most importantly, we should ask who truly benefits from the project. The applicant is not a small local business, but a large, well-resourced development company. If the primary benefits do not clearly serve the residents of Percival, then we must reconsider. Percival deserves thoughtful sustainability development that reflects the needs and values of its residents, not projects that prioritize short-term gain over long-term well-being. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my concerns.